This is Aussie Mac Zone. We'll cover everything Apple, including Macs, iPhones, iPads, and more. All this from an Aussie perspective. Sit back, relax, and insert yourself into the zone. The Aussie Mac Zone.
Hello everybody, welcome to show 157 Aussie Mac Zone, brought to you by our fantastic friends athwebhosting.com.au. Australian servers, free setup, domain registration, 250 scripts installed, one click, cPanel, 24/7 support, friendly help when needed. And Glenn will and the team will certainly look after you. And how's my fantastic friend Garth tonight?
G'day, Michael. How are you? I'm bloody awesome. How?
Yes, just the same. I must admit, just the same.
A couple of days ago, to go, not a go.
Yeah. Yes.
Couple of days to go. Yeah.
Yes. Looking forward to that. I must admit.
Mm-hmm. Need a few early nights in between now and then, so we can get up nice and early.
Yes. Yes. So, before we get on to that, I think it's more important that Apple releases an OS X patch for spyware exploit. So Apple issued an urgent security update on Thursday for OS X and Safari after finding the same vulnerabilities in its desktop operating system that were discovered last week in its mobile operating system. And that will allow attackers to remotely take control of a device. The patch for 10.11.6 El Capitan and 10.10.5 Yosemite comes a week after the internet security experts discovered that a prominent Arab activist's iPhone was being targeted by taking advantage of 3 previously unknown vulnerabilities in the mobile software. And Apple, as we told you last week, updated the iOS version. The same vulnerability showed up in OS X because the desktop and mobile versions of the Safari browser share much of the same code base. So, in its advisory, Apple warned that visiting a maliciously crafted website through its Safari browser could allow hackers to execute arbitrary code on a victim's computer. So, please do those updates. And
it's now that they're known,
yeah.
Well, you know, the exact nature of them maybe not known, but outside of Apple, but and outside of the security company, but there'll be people working on working it out how to so
I wonder if that's part of the iOS 10 beta 7 update that came out today.
It was back in the previous one, I thought.
Yeah. I can't keep up with them now, so
beta 8. It's beta 8 that came out.
Was it?
Oh, more than a week ago. Oh, sorry. No. It's out of sync. The developer beta 8 is the same as the...
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, Public 7 was today,
I think. Came out. Yeah. Public 7 came out today.
Did it? Didn't it?
Did it? No. Well, I don't know. Beta 8, the dev beta 8 came out about a week ago.
Yeah.
The same time as the iOS 9 ones came out.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly the same time. There was new ones then. So
yeah.
There might be another new one now. There might be another one again. I haven't checked again today.
The just in case one, just in case something goes wrong on Thursday our time.
Exactly. So I don't know. I heard about the updates available for OS 10 and had a look in there, and it was already done. You know, I must have my settings such that it,
auto
security.
Update, yeah.
It auto updated.
Yeah.
So I was, oh, cool. That's good. Done.
Excellent.
So just a quick question on that. OS 10, what was it? 10.10, 10.11.
Yeah.
10.9.
Nah.
We're going back any further?
Nah, it wasn't 10.9. It was 10.11 and 10.10.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
They didn't mention
so
10.9.
No. I wonder if that's going to be retrospectively patched as well, or if they can do the upgrade to
at least Safari,
Safari,
yeah,
which could maybe close it off. I'm not sure.
So just be careful and be aware.
Yes, there's a lot of people who a few people who like sitting back on old versions of things because they know what it does, they know it works, and they don't want to change anything.
Or that bit of software that they use has, that's always a challenge. And maybe the answer for them, for people on 10.9, maybe is to go to Chrome.
I don't know. Yeah. Previously, you're not going to come across one of these sites because they were the guys who were using them were very, very. I think even the link for the guy who was targeted, the
Yeah.
activist who was targeted, was a one-use link.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could only use it the one time, and it was hidden because they didn't want anyone to find out. So.
So the guys that
But, yeah.
found it must be pretty good. So.
Oh, absolutely, amazing. Yeah. I don't know how they managed it,
Yeah.
but there you go.
Thursday morning our time. That's other big news.
Mm-hmm.
It's nearly here. Apple sent out invites to the press for an event. Will it be new iPhones? Will it be new Macs? Will it be to say we can't keep the analysis happy no matter what we do, so we give up? Of course, I'll have as much as I can on the Aussie Mac Zone website and the Facebook group ready for your reading pleasure on Thursday morning when you will awake.
So you'll be up at 3 a.m., will you?
Yes.
3 a.m. Eastern time?
Yeah. Yeah. Up there typing away. As much as I can.
I'm not sure that I will be. I may be, but I don't know.
So we're guessing it'll be new iPhones.
Well, I think we can guarantee that one.
Now,
I don't think if there's new iPhones, I think there'll be a riot.
And what about do you think it's significant that it's on the 7th?
No.
For,
really.
Not for iPhone 7?
Coincidence, I'd say. Happy coincidence.
Yeah, what else are they going to announce are they going to announce anything else on the day? New
watches. By the sound of it, from all the rumours.
You think?
Yeah. Yeah. So 2 new phones. The double camera on the big one, and possibly 2 different coloured blacks. So a piano black and a gloss black.
Yeah.
New Apple Watch with GPS built in.
And you think they'll call it Apple Watch 2, or you think they'll call it Apple Watch S, or do you think...
It'd be nice if it was just Apple Watch.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. Apple Watch 2, I imagine. I don't think we're going to escape that, merry-go-round again.
Yeah. No, I think Tim will just come up and say we can't keep all these analysis happy, so we give up. I think that's what he's going to say. That'll make typing easy.
Well, that would really make sure they weren't happy, wouldn't it? That'd really drop their bundle if he did that. No, so I think that's probably all we're going to see. 2 new, the new phones,
yeah,
new watches, new bands, of course. Hopefully they'll be nice.
Yeah, there'll always be new bands. But will the old bands fit the new watches?
Definitely.
You think there's
once again be riots this time round, and maybe not next time round, but this time round I think we'll still be able to keep using the same bands.
Yes, it's a bit of a challenge when people they release new bands every time they release something. So yeah, I think they're getting that would be very, who was it? The guy from The Verge saying how customer, what was the phrase he used? Customer, I don't know, whatever it was, customer aggressive or, customer unfriendly, basically, for a headphone jack. Imagine the write-up if we new bands as well. Apple would be very, Why doesn't my band fit on my headphone jack? Maybe I'll put the headphone jack on the new watch.
Oh, imagine that. Imagine having
just for entertainment
your watch up your arm.
I can see Eddie Q coming out now with a pair of headphones on with a cable connected to it, just slip under his watch and walk out like that.
That would be so funny. That'd be awesome. That's never going to happen. So yeah, new phones and new watches. Do you think we'll get anything else?
I think they've got to. They'd be wrong not to at least mention we've got iPads coming in before Christmas, or we've got new iPads coming in March, and you won't believe how good they are because it's such and such. It's been a while since they've done anything. That's all. So, And
Well,
you
it'd
got
be March. March they gave us the new Pro,
yeah,
and it was the October event or the September event previously. We
yeah,
got the 11-inch Pro. So I think we're pretty much settled into iPads not being updated every year. They're going to be updated every second year or so, but we've got different models. So
yeah.
I I don't imagine that we'll see any iPad news whatsoever,
Hmm.
and maybe in October, but probably more likely next year early before we see anything new with the iPads.
And what about Macs? When are we going to get them?
October or just be nice if we saw Max, but once again not holding up much hope there. They've got to come soon though.
Yes.
So many of them are out of date.
Yeah.
So,
really, really out of date.
yeah. We may get new Macs at this event, but I'm thinking maybe more an October event from all the gossip we're all hearing. So we'll see, I guess.
So it was remiss of me in not mentioning last week that I'd been to an evening with Steve Wozniak.
It was, Michael. I got to the end of the show and I thought, hang on, what the heck happened there? What happened to Woz?
Yeah, it was awesome. So it appeared to start about half an hour late in Sydney. I went to the Sydney one, and due to some seating confusion, and then as such, it appeared to be a bit rushed to me. But having said that, was talked with enthusiasm, almost non-stop for an hour and a half. He had someone there that would just butt in and ask him a question and things like that. And he talked about his personal things about Steve. He talked about the garage, that they never really did anything in the garage. Steve, all the pranks he used to love playing. He and Steve both love playing pranks. So our night was on the Sunday night in Sydney, which was unusual, I thought. And there were lots of people. And what really got me was that it was about a 60-40 split between men and women. And they weren't just young women. There was women my age and younger. And, just the row of chairs that I was randomly put on, there was, it was about 60-40 men to women. And I thought that was surprising for this old man. And there was young women, older women, so that was good. So I contacted the organisers, who was Think Inc., to get an idea of the numbers. So in Sydney there was about 2,500 people, and there were 7,000 people in total for the 4 evenings. So Sydney, by far the biggest, I think. Yeah. Because he was in New Zealand and Brisbane and Melbourne and Sydney.
Yeah, I tried. I had sort of forgotten about it, and I don't know if I just looked at the website wrong or it wasn't working properly on the mobile phone. But when I went to have a look to get a ticket, it only showed 4 tickets left in Brisbane.
Yeah.
And they were the $200, $160 a seat tickets.
Fairly right down the front. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just went no.
Well, mine were about 100 and I think mine was about 107. I think.
Okay.
Which was the second group back.
Okay. See, I was going to take my son with me if
Yeah.
And it was going to be over $300, and I thought, no, that can't be done.
And like where we were, so they had this big hall, which wasn't a theatre of any description, and so they had clipped together chairs that were as hard as a rock. So that got a bit tough after an hour and a half on your butt. And each row of 3 had a big screen in front of them. I was in the middle row, so I had the big screen in front of me, but you couldn't quite see it very well because sitting in front was this other guy and Steve, and so they were very well lit. So that made the screen we were looking at a lot dimmer because it had all this light on it, whereas the other 2 screens were great, But
I see, yeah.
And they had to have these screens because there were pillars down the, because it's an old building, it's an old train shed.
Oh, okay.
So there's pillars down to hold the roof up. But it was a great night. I wouldn't have not. I'm glad I went. So yeah, it was just
Okay, tell me this, Michael. Did you hear any stories, or that you hadn't heard previously from Was or about Was or whatever?
Um, oh yeah, I think if I thought about it,
Yeah.
yeah, just things when he was in, going to college, and even when he went back to college to do his teaching, you know,
Yeah.
he was
Yep.
still a prankster then. So yeah, and that right at the end of the evening, they said, oh, about 10 people come up and ask questions, and there was like a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old plus others that they took the questions for,
Mm-hmm.
and it was end up being about 14 people probably that got to ask questions, so that was good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and it was a
Very
good
nice.
night. Yeah,
Good. Enjoyed yourself, I'm sure.
and I was in the same room, so
Yeah.
Now we've got some other news. So Samsung stopped shipping the new Note 7 smartphones after a couple of them blew up. So last company's quoting from the Korea Herald, which states that Samsung stopped shipping the new devices earlier this week. At least 2 Galaxy Note 7 owners posted images and video of the new devices burnt to a crisp after the battery blew up. So that's a bit of a worry. Now, whether they're suffering like a Bengate type thing or something, I don't know. They didn't sort of go any deeper than that. But
No. Yeah. I think up to about 36 or something, which is,
Yeah.
varies percentage of the million or so that they had sold when they
Yeah.
ceased it.
yes,
But still, you don't want it to be one of yours, do you?
that's right.
You know, just, these batteries are hard, I guess, is what it tells us.
Hard to work out and hard to keep going. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that puts a hole in Samsung. They don't need that sort of carry on.
No, it's not good publicity, is it?
No.
No.
So I've got some more ANZ Apple Pay news. So apparently, the oldest user that's using Apple Pay at the moment is in their late 90s, which I think is pretty cool. They're now accepting MasterCard. Apparently, it was only Visa up until last week, I think. And now, if you've got a MasterCard, you can use that. The biggest purchase, we believe, was $15,000.
Well, I can
Hang it
tell
off
you
your watch.
the biggest purchase I've done on my watch was iPad Pro. My wife's iPad Pro with the pencil. And, yeah, that was big enough, I thought.
That was now. Come on, you're not even in the. Oh, you didn't buy one with gold encrusted diamond pencil, did you? No, that wasn't yours. No,
that's not mine.
And it's been about 20% take up, which I think is awesome.
Has there really?
Yeah.
What, of ANZ customers or what?
Well, eligible customers, which is anyone with a credit card or a debit card. So.
Because they don't know what phone people have got. So 20% of their customers with credit or debit cards, which is 20% of their customers.
Yeah.
That's actually a huge take up.
It's pretty good,
it's bigger
isn't
than
it?
I would have thought. Yeah. I wonder how much active usage it's getting.
Yeah, don't know the answer. They haven't said that, but these are only figures that only came out last week, I believe. So, yeah. And another bit of interest is Australia's antitrust regulator said it would not grant the country's 3 biggest banks interim approval to collectively negotiate with Apple Inc. to install their own electronic payment applications on iPhones. So, in other words, get your act together, fellas. That's I'm with that. I'm with the regulator on that one, of course.
My only thing is, I think Apple needs to possibly see. I believe anyway they are wanting the same percentage that they're getting elsewhere in the US, for example. So, I think in the US, for example, credit card typically take 2%, and Apple take 0.5% of that. These numbers might be wrong, but the basic idea is sound.
Yeah.
In Australia, the credit card companies don't get the 2%. They usually only get about 1%, but Apple's still wanting 0.5. So that really really has a much bigger impact on the amount of, amount of profit that the credit card companies are making and the banks are making.
Yeah, maybe they can do it proportionally.
That's how I think.
Yeah.
If they do it proportionally, then I think that's where Apple could give a little bit too, I think. Now, who knows? Maybe the negotiations, have gone down that route.
Yeah, but I can honestly say, in my particular case, the banks were getting like 3.5% for my small business. Now, whether that was because I had no bargaining power, I'm not Myers, etc.
Yeah, you're not Coles or Woolworths, yeah.
Yeah, but what about getting the customers using it? Maybe they'll use it more than their ordinary credit or debit card, and therefore that 0.5% will add up.
Yeah, I don't think.
What about look after the customer first and then sort it out between yourselves later? Or is it just stick the customer? Stick it to the customer.
Well, the thing is, the customers, mostly in Australia, that's the other problem we've got in Australia. The customers, we've already got tap and go,
Yeah.
It's not as big a Apple Pay here. It's not as big a improvement over the current system as it is in the US. In the US, where they've putting the chip in and PIN and all that sort of stuff, most people are still swiping their freaking card. If we were all still swiping our card here or getting that sort of stuff happening, the idea of moving to Apple Pay would be much more alluring. But when we're already tapping and going anyway, it's not a huge, there's not as big value. So there's not as big a value to the customer as there is in the US, and the impact to the profit for the guys is more. So that's why they've got a bit more of an uphill battle. But thank goodness for ANZ and for, in my case, American Express. We can,
Come on, boys. Yeah. Customer first. So Apple plans to purge App Store of crappy apps. Cult of Mac. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
This is fantastic. Get rid of all that dross that is just detritus and so forth that's sitting in there. Hasn't been updated in God knows how long. Just, clear it out.
So Cult of Mac reports lazy iOS app developers better watch out. The purge is coming. Apple sent registered developers a notice today that it plans to clean the App Store of crummy apps starting on September 7th. The review team will evaluate apps in every single category to ensure they meet Apple's quality standards of being functional and up to date. And hopefully this means all the apps that still haven't been updated to iOS 7's UI style will be dropped off at the slaughterhouse. The purge should be beneficial to developers too by increasing visibility to newer apps. So I think, come on, get it going. One of the ones that I haven't looked at, but apparently it's also the reducing the length of the name to 50 characters, because apparently like people are putting in, you might have a camera app, but it'll be camera filter app, Dragon Slayer, weather.
Works with Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Okay. So if you do a search for Facebook or you do a search for weather, or eventually it'll show up as you slide up and down the list. So, go get them, boys.
That's a good move too. So I think they're only getting, any app that won't even launch under iOS 9/10, it'll just be dropped.
To start with,
there must be, for the other, anything else where it's just, not updated, I think they're contacting developers first to give them a chance to contact.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
There must be some automated system that's just going through these, though. Hey, you would think.
Yeah. A little bot,
Yeah, some testing tool that just goes through and sends out.
Little AI fella running around. So also now, RIP Scott Shepherd from Inside Mac. So this was one of the first Mac news shows I listened to, and gave Ken from Mac OS Ken his foray into Mac news. So it was a podcast, and he had a bit of pull at Apple in the early days. He was had his own stand, for example, at Macworld at Apple. He'd always be out getting Apple news. It was good to listen to. So, and we lost him a couple of days ago. So, good luck to his family.
I did. Yeah, I wasn't aware of this particular one. So yeah. And like you said, gave Ken Ray his go. Okay,
Yeah.
Ken Ray. I love Ken Ray. So yeah.
Yeah, that's what I first heard him. They had a falling out after a couple of years, but you know, there's a whole. If you listen to Ken Ray, you know the whole a bit of the background there anyway. So, yes, but yeah, that was a long time ago. You know, we're talking really 2000s, early 2000s.
Wow.
Yeah, podcast before podcasts. So yeah, so good luck to his family. Now, on a brighter note, congratulations to Aussie tech heads for reaching episode 500 last Thursday. They finally got there after dramas the week before when it was supposed to be.
After the tech gods conspired against them for the week before.
Yes, finally they made it. So it was good. I was lucky enough to be there. So
very good.
Unfortunately, Eric wasn't there, so I couldn't pick on him. But I'm saving them up.
I rely on you for this, Michael. Come on.
So now, Tim Cook responds to Irish tax ruling in a public letter. We are confident that the Commission's ruling will be reversed. So from 9 to 5 Mac, Tim Cook has posted an open letter on apple.com for customers in response to the European judgment that Ireland must recover 13 billion euros in tax revenue from Apple, covering the period from 2003 to 2014. So in the public posting, Cook lambasts the judgment as having serious consequences on on European business. It says the ruling suggests Apple received a special deal on our taxes, which has no basis in fact or in law. And Cook says Apple is being compelled to pay back taxes to a government that states Apple does not owe any additional money. So Cook frames the judgment as the European Commission meddling in Irish business, replacing Irish policy with its own. And apparently Ireland and the United States agree that company profits should be taxed in the country where the value is created. So it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be the ruling obviously is definitely going to be appealed.
It'll be an interesting one to see how it plays out.
Yes.
You know, yeah.
And like
so
they're doing retroactive. Like, what did it take them? 11 plus years to decide it was wrong. Why didn't they say something in 2005 or 6?
Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they only went back as far as they did because that's as far as they can go back. Because they can.
Yeah. And like they say, Ireland doesn't want any money.
Well, the island government doesn't, but I think a lot of the island people probably do. Yeah.
Not if they didn't get a really special. Anyway. Yeah,
it's hard.
And the Irish people aren't going to get the money anyway, are they? Like
no, but the Irish government does.
The 13 billion euros. Ireland might only end up getting one of it because they want to. The European Union want them to pay it all back towards what they owe the European Union or whatever. They owe them 100,
right.
Or they owe Europe or something. Yeah.
Okay, so if they're in a well, you can sort of I don't know if they are owing that to the European Union and they want to continue to be part of the European Union.
Yeah.
And want to give sweetheart tax deals to these tech companies to have them do business in Ireland, You can understand that. Yeah,
but have they given them a sweetheart tax deal?
Yeah, don't know, because my understanding was that they had.
Yeah.
However, Tim Cook is saying directly that they haven't.
No.
So, I mean, the tax rate in Ireland was only, the standard business tax rate is only 12.5% or something.
Yeah. And this is going to affect a lot of companies, because there's a lot of companies already in Ireland doing this, shall we say, the same thing under similar. Yeah. So it's not only Apple.
No. It'd be setting a precedent.
Yes.
But even if they kept their 12.5% business tax rate, that's still so low,
Yeah. And like they're saying it's 0.0065% or something now, but they already admitted that it was a lot. I don't know, what was it, 7 or 9% or something back in 2000 and what did we say, 2003?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's changed as over the years. The rates varied over the years.
Right. Well, I guess we'll
how
just have
she
to watch
works it out, we don't know.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. So don't forget, we got Aussie Tech Radio at www.aussietechradio.com. We've got the Aussie Tech Security Podcast, which is definitely back up and running.
Yeah.
The Aussie Tech Heads Podcast, number 500. So,
ding, ding.
Yeah, don't forget those. And but definitely Aussie Tech Radio. And there was a problem last week with a bit of the feed, but that got fixed as well. It was changing from one to the other in the middle of a podcast episode, and to go on to the next one instead of going to the end, but that got fixed. So had a problem. So we apologise for that too. So we'll do I've got a new segment in there, but we'll talk about that later. Yeah.
Okay. Skip the
unless you've got something. Yeah. You got anything? I'm happy to keep going if you've got something. Yeah.
No, I've got nothing new, I don't think.
You sure? Nothing?
No. New USB key. I don't think that really counts. You get these tiny little USB keys now that are 64 gig. They're amazing.
Yeah, see?
There you go.
That's something I bought. I bought for my MacBook Pro that goes in the card slot on the side and sits flush because it takes a micro SD card in it. And it's an aluminium, so you can put, I could put another 256 gig micro SD card into this little holder, push it in, and there's another 256 gig just like that.
That's pretty cool, isn't it?
And it was on special. I don't know whether I got an email or something, saw it somewhere, and it was, $30 instead of 60. So I bought one, just thought, oh, well, yeah, because I'd looked at it previously. And it was an Australian-based one, not an overseas-based one.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm just trying it out, make sure it keeps working for a couple of weeks before I do my review on it. But
very nice.
Yeah, and it's handy just to have that extra little backup going.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I'm a backup mental.
Yeah. No, mine is just for extra storage on here. I've just got 64 gig, extra 64 gig to start getting, once I've boot camped this MacBook Air.
Yeah.
That 26 gig drive got a bit smaller. So having that USB key there with extra 64 gig.
Yeah.
That's available whether I'm on the Windows side or the Mac side.
Yeah.
The handy place to keep stuff that you could work on from both sides. So
bang, just like that. So
easy.
So we had a listener question, which is great. Why does my genuine Apple Lightning cable sometimes say this may not be supported? So when
linty pockets?
Yeah, that's what I said. Pocket lint or dirt in the socket. You don't use metal to get it out. You got to use a plastic paper clip or something very fine to get in there, or compressed air. Apple use compressed air to get it out. Sometimes you still got to get in there with something sharp just to get it moving a little bit, and then blow it out with the compressed air, because the lightning connector, if you actually look at it, looks like it's actually got a switch on it. You know what I mean? It goes, something actually gets spread apart when you push it in, right at the bottom. And if it doesn't quite go in that far enough, I just think it's not activating the switch, or it's not earthing properly, or something like that.
Yeah. Yep.
You know,
one of the pins is not connecting properly at some point anyway.
Yeah, and it's So yeah, I've had it happen to my wife. I've had it happen to this person that was asking the question. So yeah, and that's what it ended up being too. And again, in this particular case, so that was good. Bonus points for us.
Yep. Yeah. Let's see. Use a little timber toothpick. They told me to use, and yeah. As long as it's a good strong one, doesn't leave any bits of timber behind.
Well, you are going to blow it out afterwards. So.
Yeah, not metal, like you said. So
definitely not metal. We don't want the battery blowing up on you because or burning your fingers or whatever. Yeah,
or something. Yeah.
So I was reading a website, and it was talking about Wi-Fi as an Australian invention. So, yeah, that's right. But then they added, and beer can Wi-Fi has to be as Aussie as it comes. It has been reported that the signal of your Wi-Fi can be boosted with aluminium foil, found in household items like empty beer can. So you create a shell with the metal to guide the direction of your Wi-Fi signal to get a few extra meters of coverage, and then you're basically just putting it over the aerial, and you don't want to. If your router's sitting against a wall, you may as well try and push as much of the signal into your house as opposed to some of it going out through your wall and out the front.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you just cut the top off, or open the side of a beer can and drop it over there and see if it makes any difference for you. But I thought that was.
If you want to use if you want to do that's the proper way. But I think just get a bit of tinfoil maybe. So, a aluminium can with the top cut off sitting there might be a bit not want to have hanging around if you've got kids anyway.
Yeah. So when I'm in the Apple Notes app on a Mac, so for example, we're doing our show notes at the moment in Apple Notes, giving that a run. So I'm in the Notes app and in a checklist, but I want to add a second line to a note, as opposed, if you just hit return, it creates another checkable line. But I want to add a second line, so maybe that I've sent an email to someone, something like that. So you hit control and return, and that just moves it down a line, and you keep typing, and then you hit return, and then you've got another check, but you've got that one line that's part of the previous check line.
Yep.
Now, the hassle is, I haven't found out how to do it on the phone or on the iPad I can do it on the iPad using an external keyboard, but I can't do it on a phone without using a keyboard.
Without using an external keyboard.
Yeah. So I just haven't worked out how to get that control key.
Yeah, I don't know that.
You can't yet, I don't think.
Well, no, but there might be a way somehow.
Haven't worked it out yet. So if anyone's got any ideas, I'm putting my hand up.
There you go. Yeah.
So, yeah, $20 iTunes card, maybe.
Oh, jeez.
Well, it's got its
you
worth.
Really want
it. Yeah. Yeah, so there we go. A couple of other little things happen. Like Apple launched the $20 US a month 2 terabyte of iCloud storage, which is still pretty cheap, I think, for 2 terabytes. It's reasonable, I think.
It's about right, isn't it?
Yeah. If only you could use it for business. So.
And I heard on one of the podcasts I was listening, people going, "Well, why aren't they doing even more?" gigabytes, 2 terabytes, 3 terabytes, 4 terabytes. People would buy it. Like, yeah, okay, but
yeah, and even like you get the big size. Who Jason Snell was talking about it on one of his podcasts, but you still can't, even with family sharing and things, you can't share everything on there. It's a bit weird.
I know, that's the annoying thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So, yeah, just sharing photos and things, you can't quite do it like you think you should be able to. Because why can't you have the whole family sharing the 2 terabytes? Is basically the question.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to do.
Yeah.
Even, just for the photo libraries.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
So that's the best I've got tonight. Thank you.
I put a couple of little extra bits in there. Nothing too exciting.
Okay.
But
what did I
they
miss?
seem to go into the notes as an attachment rather than as text.
Okay.
But
yeah.
So what did I put in here? So just a quick one. We were talking earlier about how we've got the security update back to Yosemite, I think it was.
Yep.
So kind of related, but not really. I'm just surprised how far we go back for supported devices as well. Not for the security updates, but just for their warranty, not warranty, what do you call it? Repair status.
Yeah.
So iPhone 4, finally, after all these years, the iPhone 4 goes to obsolete status next week, along with 2008 MacBooks and 2008 MacBook and mid 2009 iMacs.
Yeah.
So if you've got an iPhone 4, get it repaired before then. I don't know what. But it's a long time to keep something in officially supported for repair status, I reckon.
Well, how old is it? That's only 1, 2,
4, 4S, 5, 5S, 6, 6S, 7.
7 years.
Yeah. It should be quicker. So then make it for you guys.
Yeah, but 7 years is right. That's what Apple's normal time is. So that's pretty good, isn't it?
There you go. I think it is good. Yeah.
Because I know there's still a few kicking around. There's definitely still a few kicking around.
Well, yeah. I guess what my son had one up until last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was one little tidbit I had in there that I meant to mention earlier. Yeah. Also, Apple have revived their Apple Twitter account. Now the weird thing is there's no tweets there, but there is a tweet hanging around, and I've retweeted it on Aussie Mac Zone, that if you retweet this particular tweet, you get a direct message. You get a mention by @Apple.
Yeah.
Even though they haven't got any tweets, that is for a reminder prior to the event.
Yeah.
So I think we'll all get a mention. Yeah. If you retweet, you'll get a mention just before the event to remind you to go and watch it. And iMore had a nice big list of all the official Apple accounts. So, we've got Apple News AU along with the normal Apple News. There's iTunes. There's a whole heap of them, and there'll be a list of them there. I'll put in the show notes.
Yeah, we applied for an Apple News to be able to put information up on Apple News, and we applied about, I want to say, at least a week and a half ago, if not 2 weeks. Still haven't heard anything. Maybe they're busy getting ready for the show. I don't know what they do to decide who can go up and who can't. So
I think you can still use any RSS. You can go into Apple News and still find an RSS feed, can't you? I have to look into that a bit more.
No, because I think you've got to load it in their formatting.
Yes.
So for example, where
I extra tag RSS, I think.
Yeah, but where I the account that I set it up on, it's actually got a button there that says Apple News Publishing, where I can go in and type out the information, etc. But that still says it's not active. So
Okay.
So I haven't tried it for a week. So I will try it again the next day or so. But they haven't sent me an email to tell me that it's been approved. So.
It's been approved or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So time will tell. But there we go.
It will.
And now, and also, I was nearly remiss of me. Thank you, everyone that is listening to us live. So
yes.
Once we finally worked out what we were doing wrong here tonight, so next week I will try and see if we can respond. If there's anyone got any questions or something that's on the live feed, maybe we can answer those at the same time. For something to do, just to put it right on you.
Yeah,
so
we can
keep your thinking cap on, Garth.
Oh, no worries.
All right, my friend. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Michael, and thanks, guys, for listening.
Yes, much appreciated.